fairly good pace to read the story of the man who was born blind. Who would like to do that?
I can do it.
Do it.
Alright. Jesus heals a man. I have New International Version, just so you know.
That's fine.
As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am the world, I am the light of the world.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. You will be able to continue doing that here in a second. Okay. So, we've got a man who is born blind. We would call this man disabled. Correct?
Sure, if that's what you want to read it as.
Let's.
Whoa.
He can't see.
Okay. There's some significant things about being disabled, about a disability. Do you have something to say?
I'm disabled.
Okay. Well, good. We welcome it. We all are in our own unique little ways.
Amen.
So, being disabled, this comes with tremendous cost. You know, if you are disabled, that is something. Is that in your control?
No.
No. Does it give you any less value?
No.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it shouldn't. The question is, now let's be honest, the question is, in yourself, in your spirit, when you are dealing with a person who was born blind, in your spirit, do you see them as equal value to you than someone who you love in your family or friends?
I do.
See them as better. Because, like, imagine going through life and not being able to see anything. That's insane.
That is absolutely crazy. Do you have something to say, Damien?
I would say God created that person that for a reason to be blind, not because he has problems, it's because God wants to make different people.
Yep, absolutely. So the disciples say, or excuse me, his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned? Is it his fault that he was born blind, or was it his parents' fault that he was born blind? Why would the disciples have this question of, maybe it was his parents that did this?
Well, if he was born blind, then it's like, well, maybe not much sin could be done, so, and his parents would be tasked with having a blind child to raise,
Yep,
so.
absolutely. Now maybe they get it from Deuteronomy where it says your parents' sin will pass on to the third and fourth generation. That's possible, if they were thinking along those lines. Let's talk a little bit more about this disabled. Okay, so you think about a man who was born blind, especially in that day and age, what are they capable of doing?
Pretty much
Why not?
not in that day and age. I mean.
Why not?
They
They
do
still
a
have
lot.
full capacity. They have everything except their sight.
Mhm.
They have touch, they have feel,
have
they can
smell.
grind wheat if someone brings a wheat.
good
They're
point.
very productive people.
Yeah, I'm
That's
saying
true, that's true.
Society, I mean, the society back in that era though was if you weren't, able to do something, they kind of outcast you.
Right.
And
Like the
not
lepers
if
and
you
like-
had a mother that loved you, she'd just pull you right
Well,
along.
yeah.
Now, this story, though, however, he's not taken care of by parents like that. In this story, he's a beggar. So, Keegan. Well, let's keep going. Okay, so Jesus says this happened so that the work of God may be displayed in his life. What does that mean?
God made him blind for a reason.
Okay. What reason would that be? Jade.
God often uses weak people to, or people that can't do certain things to show what he can do or show his strength.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What disabilities do you have? Think about the thing that you wish you could change so bad. Okay, everybody, think about this. Think about the thing you wish you could change so bad about yourself. If you feel like sharing, go ahead. Derek,
Well, there's several things.
the biggest one. Say the biggest one.
It's kind of tied together with bipolar and causing physical disablements from what I know I can do.
Okay. Michelle, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I battle with like severe anxiety, and it's just irrational fear for no reason.
There's a lot of people in this room that get that.
I am a gambler and I can't kick the habit.
Okay.
I wish I could.
Habits. Addictions. Absolutely. Okay. Derek. Damien, sorry.
I have a speech impediment, learning disability, and also I get myself depressed, get myself down easily, depressed.
Yeah. Darby?
I have roots, which affects my legs, and I have a hard time using my legs to make it
Kids. Maybe. Okay. Okay, now these, okay, well this is, mental, this is something you wish you could kick. You wish you had more strength to kick this. So, like weakness. Speech impediment, that's physical. What are the things about yourself? What about those of us who maybe don't have the mental stuff and we don't have the physical stuff? There's still things about ourselves we wish we could change. Amy?
I would say like lack of intellectuality or not being very smart.
That was a nice way to put it. That's a very nice way to put it. I'm trying to figure out. I'm gonna write all that down.
That was a very smart way to put it.
Okay. Intellect.
Isn't that a contradiction?
Intellectual efficiency?
Unintellectness. There. Good. Okay. You have these things, and when we get down on ourselves about the things that we've got, a lot of this stuff we have absolutely no control over. Not only that, but here you've got a disabled guy that has got something he's got no control over, but his parents also have absolutely zero control over this. His parents got handed this trial. Raising a blind boy would be a significant trial. It would completely take over your life, would it not? Your life would be about your blind boy. Your life you wouldn't have time or energy to do much else because that would constantly be on your mind. What do we do with our son? And Jesus says, yep, I did it. This is not a cause. This was not caused by sin. This is not, okay, here we go. This is kind of a big thing. It is not about who caused it. Okay? It's not about that. It is about purpose. You can ask yourself a million bajillion questions about all of your stuff, all the things that you wish you could change about yourself, all the trials you're going through, all that junk. You could ask yourself a million questions about that, and all those questions would be based on why. Why this? Why that? What caused this? Why? The way God looks at it is there's a purpose behind it. There's a purpose behind absolutely everything that takes place in your life. Okay, moving on. So, verse 6. Go, Keegan. Go until I tell you to stop.
After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam, which means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" Some claimed that he was. Others said, "No, he only looks like him." But he himself insisted, "I am the man." "How then were your eyes opened?" they asked. He replied, "The man they called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see." "Where is this man?" they asked him. "I don't know," he said. The Pharisees investigated healing. They brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind.
Sorry. I got distracted. That's my bad. Okay, so Jesus spits on the ground and makes some mud. Why did he do that? Jesus, question. Okay, pop quiz. Did Jesus have the ability to heal him without mud?
Yes.
Yep.
You bet he did. He didn't have to use mud to heal him. So why did he use mud?
Symbolic.
Okay. Of?
Take it to the show symbol and pray, no one looks at it, and showing the
Wait.
beauty.
What did he do? What, he had to wash it off, right?
Yeah.
And what happens if we sin and we get baptized?
Ooh,
He was
whoa.
washing away his sins.
Shields
The
us up.
mud was the sin, and when he washed it off, he was washing away his sins.
Okay.
I thought it wasn't caused by sin.
It was not caused by sin. That's true. Do you have something, Darby?
I thought it was maybe a reference back to Adam, because we were
Made from the dust of the earth, he formed Adam. So maybe from the dust of the earth, he gives this guy good eyes. Yeah. Sarah?
It could just be to test the guy's faith, because Jesus is telling him to go and do something in order to be healed, and that can be a lot harder to trust that what Jesus is saying is true and actually go and do it.
That makes sense.
Very,
Like,
very
how
true.
did he get to the river by himself?
That's a very good point. Very good point. Okay. So.
Where were you going with it?
Well, let's read on here, Keegan, and then I'll tell you where I was going with it.
Right, this is verse 13, right?
13, yep.
They brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. Now the day on which Jesus had made the mud and opened the man's eyes was a Sabbath.
Stop. Okay, now tell me what you're thinking.
You're not supposed to do any work on the Sabbath.
Bingo! You are not supposed to do jack diddly squat on the Sabbath. You are not supposed to put your hands in the dirt on the Sabbath. You are breaking the law, the Pharisees' law.
Or so they thought.
Yeah, how they interpreted it. So Jesus
Yeah.
deliberately, while, yes, the reference to Adam, absolutely beautiful. The reference to faith, that stuff, absolutely beautiful. Not saying that's not there. But we have here 47 verses of controversy. Jesus deliberately went down and molded some mud up, which you are not supposed to do on the Sabbath, so that he could split the group. This is going to be about, this whole thing is about who's blind and who's seeing, not just physically, but spiritually. This is not just about a man receiving physical sight. This is about seeing who really sees and who really doesn't see. So he creates the controversy to make the split. Okay? Continue.
Therefore the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He put mud on my eyes, the man replied, and I washed, and now I see. Some of the Pharisees said, This man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath.
Bingo.
But others asked, How can a sinner perform such signs? So they were divided. Then they turned again to the blind man. What have you to say about him? It was your eyes he opened. The man replied, He is a prophet. They still did not believe that he had been blind and had received his sight until they sent for the man's parents. Is this your son, they asked? Is this the one who you say was born blind? How is it that now he can see? We know he is our son, the parents answered, and we know he was born blind. But how can he see now, or who opened his eyes? We don't know. Ask him. He is of age. He will speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders, who already had decided that anyone who acknowledged that Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. That was why his parents asked he is of age, ask him. A second time they summoned the man who had been blind. Give glory to God by telling the truth, they said. We know this man is a sinner. He replied, whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know, I was blind, but now I see. Then they asked him, what did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? He answered, I have told you already, and you do not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too?
Okay. The blind dude's getting sassy. I love this. I absolutely love this. Okay, first I want to make a couple of points, and then we'll be done here. We'll be done. This is one of my favorite, one of my favorite stories in the book of John. Absolutely adore it. First of all, in verse 11, you see that the blind man, you watch this guy, he is given sight, but when he is given sight, then you watch his spiritual sight happen. So at the beginning, in verse 11, the blind man calls Jesus a man. That's all he was. The man named Jesus put mud on my eyes. That's what he calls him. Then later, in verse 17, the Pharisees asked him again. He said, well, he's probably a prophet. So his spiritual sight of who Jesus is growing throughout this chapter. Then he says, in verse 33, he says, if this man were not from God, he couldn't have done this. So that's even more. Then in verse 38, in verse 38, I'll just read 35 through 38. Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, so they threw you've got a blind man, a beggar. This guy is just sitting by a pool, waiting for somebody to toss him in, hoping that he could be healed, just holding the cup out, hoping somebody would give him some money. And this blind beggar, who was nothing in life prior to this, is now silencing the Pharisees, shutting them completely up, to the point where they can't do anything but say, you can't be a Jew anymore. And so they kick him out. When they kick him out, Jesus then heard that they thrown him out. And when he had found him, this is interesting, Jesus sought him out. So he gets kicked out, and Jesus goes looking for him. And when he finds him, he says, do you believe in the Son of Man? Who is he, sir? The man asked. Tell me so that I may believe in him. Jesus said, you have now seen him. In fact,